Merrick, you and Ramon have been working your way up to this event ever since the Tremere Putz stumbled his way into the red note and discovered that Merrick is a vampire. Figuring it would be best to get out in front of any revelation that Ramon is harboring an unacknowledged vampire, it is far better to go ahead and make his presentation than it would be to have the prince's goons show up looking for him. Detective Green, your sire Earl has decided that the time is right for you to go ahead and be introduced to the powers that be. He wants to introduce you not only to his boss, but to the big boss. Your investigations have revealed that yes, there is definitely something going on. The two missing women, there is a link of some kind. The two murdered drivers, having been killed in the same savage fashion, certainly leaves you to suspect that someone among the kindred community is behind these killings. Frankly, getting the chance to mix, mingle, and meet may very well be your best chance to figure out who.
Ah, yes.
Max and Shelley. Constantine has trained you up. He has taught you the most important traditions. Most foremost among them, the masquerade. He has explained to you that it is very likely that during your presentation to the prince,
Hey, thanks for the sub.
you will be expected to be able to recite the traditions. If you look in roll 20, you will see there are handouts for each of the 6 traditions that include the specific wording. So you've got that available as an asset that you can pull up and read if somebody, say, puts you on the spot. But the time has come for all of you to meet the man. You see, Edward only holds court like this, well, every now and then. Typically once per season. I think because Earl is a direct, quote-unquote, employee of the prince, I think that he and Detective Green will be the first of our immediate concern to arrive at the hotel. Now, Ron, you have worked cases at the Brown Palace in the past. It is a lovely structure. It is 9 stories, built around an open central atrium. It is very unusual. It is built in a triangle shape. It only actually has 3 walls facing the outside world, with the guest rooms on balconies ringing this central atrium. The meeting room that Earl escorts you to is actually up on the 8th floor, and when you walk in the door, you are greeted immediately by a large and more than a little imposing man with black hair. Earl immediately greets him by saying, "Duke, what's up, boss? This is Ron. Ron, this is Duke."
My head. Duke. Ron. Nice to meet you.
He extends his hand, offering a shake. He has not spoken.
I extend my
His
hand.
When he takes your hand, you find his grip to be firm, but not crushing. He's not trying to prove anything about how strong he is by shaking your hand off. But he never breaks eye contact with you the entire time. He is looking into your soul.
I've got to step away from the computer real quick, but I can hear you guys.
Okay.
Perfect. Ron just tries to maintain his composure, keep it cool, keep his head clear.
After taking a moment to size you up, he finally nods, releases your hand, and says, "Nice to finally make your acquaintance. Earl has told me a great deal about you. I'm looking forward to working with you in the future."
Words ring like butter on popcorn. He just loves the professional talk and demeanor of this guy and is like, yes, this is somebody I
Back.
can work with.
Excellent. It occurs to you something about his demeanor kind of hits that a familiar note, and you realize Duke might not have been law enforcement prior to turned, but you're almost certain that he is former military.
Hmm.
He has that erectness of carriage, they used to call it. You know, his shoulders back, chest out, square jaw kind of set.
Yeah,
You know what I mean.
I do.
He says, "Well, it's good that you're here. Edward will be along shortly. You know how he likes to make an entrance." He kind of nods in an aside to Earl. We've evidently got a fairly decent little crop of young kindred coming up.
Is that so?
Earl kind of raises an eyebrow. You're not the only new one being presented tonight.
Is that unusual? So usually
Uh,
only one?
well, we have some fairly strict standards about overcrowding. It is very unusual that the prince approves more than one new kindred be created in any particular span of time. But
Hmm.
we will see what develops. If you'll excuse me. and he turns to greet the next guest entering the ballroom. Which,
Okay.
behind you, you see a striking red-haired woman, looking to be 40-ish.
Hey, just about my age.
And as she enters the ballroom, Duke steps forward, gives her a very delicate hug, and kisses her on the cheek. Good evening, Miss Wilkes. Edward is expecting you. She looks over, sees you standing next to Earl, raises an eyebrow, but says, "Good evening, Earl." And she walks past without speaking to you. Earl kind of looks at you and shrugs. Come on, let's we might as well find a seat. Hopefully this won't take too long.
What is it? Is it just like a presentation? Like doing a dinner
There's a
or
little to it normally, but we don't eat.
I love the idea of a vampire orientation.
yeah, again, Ron very much feels like he's really trying to stay in the human lane as much as he can. So he's relating things in a very human-like way still.
Yeah, no.
He still
For the
likes
most
meetings
part,
and stuff and work and whatever.
your part in this tonight, Ron, is going to be very simple. You're going to address the prince, state your name. I am going to acknowledge that I am your sire. He's going to acknowledge that yes, you have his permission to exist within the city. All of the rights and privileges of being a member of the Camarilla will apply. And more than likely, he will dismiss us off to the side while he conducts business with some of the elders.
So you said it's not usual to have more than one. Do you think there's a chance that I get presented and he like says no? And if he does, what's the
Oh, no.
protocol for that? Am I just dead to rights at that point?
No. I had permission to turn you when I did. So that is not an issue. It is just strange coincidence that so many new kindred are being presented tonight.
I guess that's the part that I can't reconcile, that it's a coincidence, but I guess I don't know enough information, and well,
Yeah.
I'm here with you,
Well,
so
keep your eyes open. There's always something to learn at these events, even if it's not necessarily what's on display.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
The next arrive, we have three people that enter together. Max and Shelley, you arrive with Constantine. You have taken the most circuitous route to get somewhere that you have ever done in your life. You left the place that he has housed you, taught you, and typically schooled you in the way to behave and the rights and privileges and traditions of being kindred. But it's also the home base that you go back to sleep during the day. But he takes you from that place, which is might have been originally intended as a workshop of some kind, as part of the storm sewer system in the city. but it has been blocked off. It's not easy to get into any longer. Getting in and out actually requires a dunk through a wastewater treatment lagoon underground.
Ew.
But after leaving the haven, he takes you around and through and stops off at a hotel where he urges you to shower quickly, get cleaned up, put on clean clothes, and we will go from here on to the meeting. Now here comes the tricky bit. At this point, you guys have been doing this for almost 2 years. You have had the opportunity to become accustomed to your new appearances. You are, frankly, grotesque to your own eyes, but by, clinging to your relationship with one another and working together, you have demonstrated to Constantine again and again that you both have the mental toughness to adapt to this new existence and to do so successfully. You have learned to feed, you have learned to hunt, you have even learned to continue pursuing your former career path to greatness. You are
You're breaking up again, JD.
Nothing moved.
All right, you're back
Can
now.
you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, my signal dipped off. Weird. Anyway, you have, both of you, had to make some serious adjustments in how you see yourselves. But for the most part, you have been successful-ish in adapting to your new circumstances. The one thing that Constantine has driven into you is how fortuitous it is that he came upon you when he did. There is always a market among the kindred for those who are appropriately connected to dispose of a body. And the fact that the two of you are professionals in that very field, well, the timing on it just couldn't be better. But more about that when we get to the meeting. But once you are cleaned up, showered, dressed in clean clothes, Constantine passes a hand over the two of you. And while you were essentially invisible as you entered this hotel, now, looking at each other, you see yourselves as you appeared before before being changed.
Good.
Constantine has the power to disguise you, at least temporarily, with your own real faces.
Constantine, you have to show
And-
that trick.
Well, we're working on it. Right now, you've mastered the ability to move around and stay unseen, and that is an important step on the way. The next step will be the Mask of 1,000 Faces, where you can change your appearance at will. I very much look forward to the two of you being able to get out on your own and not require my assistance moving among the mortals.
Oh, you want to kick us out already?
Well, I have no intention of kicking you out. That would be most rude, considering how, well, we're family now. But I do expect you to
Family,
be able to
sorry.
move. I do expect you to move about on your own.
I'm getting what you call cabin fever. Is that what you Americans call it?
Yes, I imagine so. So, when the three of you arrive at the Brown Palace, you make your way through the hotel in plain sight of everyone around you. The concierge at the desk actually looks up and says, "Oh, Mr. Constantine, good evening. Your party is waiting for you up on the eighth floor ballroom, sir." Constantine nods graciously and says, "Why, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate your assistance." And you make your way upstairs. So when you enter the ballroom, what do the others present see? Go ahead and describe yourselves, please, as you were before being turned.
Black turtleneck, black leather trench coat, fashionable yet utilitarian boots. Someone that favors not being seen and easy to get the blood off.
Oh my goodness.
Compose yourself, woman. Focus. Focus.
A dark blue gown, very low dipping cleavage, open back, very light flowy material, hair swept up in a effortless updo.
It's her favorite look.
Classic.
All right. Well, you are greeted at the door by this tall and imposing man who Constantine greets as Duke. He extends his hand to each of you and briefly goes through the same basic ritual that you heard me go through with Detective Green. He shakes your hand, looks into your eyes very closely, and then finally speaks and says, "Good evening, Max, Shelley."
Sir, very nice to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for inviting us.
Of course. The prince will be out shortly. By all means, please. He gestures on into the room. Says, "Please have a seat and make yourselves at home."
Gladly, thank you. As we walk away, I whisper to Shelly, "Shelly, did you see the size of that guy? He's fucking tall." he'd be like 4 trash bags minimum.
Maybe 3. We can chop him up extra small.
Oh, yeah, but all the labor.
Save
I
money.
can hear you.
Sorry, old habit. We would never think of it.
He actually laughs at that. Ron, you're not sure. You're not sure what was said. You didn't quite catch it, but the newcomers, muttering quietly to each other as they walked away from Duke at the door, they exchanged some kind of word, and Duke laughs at it, which seems kind of unsettling. Really, he's doesn't seem like really the laughing sort.
Yeah, Ron's worked with some grim types like him before, especially, you know, some of those military guys have seen some shit. And yeah, so but he does also note like Max and Shelly and their like I mean, they look very attractive, their appearances and stuff like that. Like he notices that. And I'm gonna assume Ron doesn't know, but that woman, Miss Wilkes, that came in earlier, was that Karina?
No,
Okay, well
no,
then never mind
that
that.
yeah, you've never seen this person before. Karina is a blonde, by the way.
Okay, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ron just kind of like he's looking at these like attractive people and like looking at himself. He's like way more like muted and stuff. Just looks like more of a normal guy, and he's like, Kelly, did I dress right for this thing, man?
Don't worry, you are just fine. You are. You're not here because you're pretty. Let's put it that way. And he actually looks over at these two lovely people that have just walked in, and he says, I know who they're here with. They're not here because they're pretty either.
Ron's looking at the two of them, looking at Kelly, like making sure they're looking at the same couple, but he's like, okay.
Are you not
Kelly's been
judging
very
the
straight
Nosferatu?
up with it.
Oh,
What's that now?
You realize what
they're
Nosferatu look like, Nick?
Well, Ron doesn't. I do.
Yeah.
I do, but Ron has no
Well,
idea. He
they've
will
not
soon
been
enough, I'm sure, but
they've not been introduced as Nosferatu either. He does not have the first idea who these people actually are. Just that they are. The one thing that Errol has prepped you with is the knowledge that everyone in this room tonight will be a vampire. Period.
and then there's Ron still clinging to his humanity, like, oh, am I dressed properly?
Yeah, right? I actually can't wait to get Ron in a one-on-one conversation with the prince, because that's gonna be fun.
Oh man. The
But
breakability factor for Ron is right there, I'm just saying. He
you
really
know,
doesn't want
don't
to let
worry
go
about
of
it.
who he is yet. Yeah, no, I'm not
It
worried about it at all. It'll be fun.
it will. So several other people arrive. Will Frankie, do you have a way of sharing the portraits from the lore channel
Yeah.
so that the audience in the Discord can see these people?
Yep. Which one do you want me to show him?
Start with Duke. And then we'll do Duke first, then Leslie Wilkes.
Looking for Duke.
He's going to be close to the top.
It's Earl. The Dawn,
Anyway.
Leslie Booth. Duke, there he is.
Yeah.
He's a real pretty one himself.
Yep. Well,
He is a Toreador.
I was going to say it's on brand. But as these others begin filing in, you each see different members of the community as they arrive. And then we get to a moment of some strife. Duke is still at the door, greeting each member of the community as they arrive. The door opens, and well, a guy who looks like a dead ringer for Joey Ramone, but a young Joey Ramone, walks in the door with a young guy walking next to him. Merrick, go ahead and describe yourself.
Oh, Merrick is one handsome mofo. His brown wavy hair is kind of slicked back, like he pomaded it a little bit for this, but he's wearing a black T-shirt with Black Sabbath on it, and a pair of ripped up jeans and some biker boots. And this is Merrick's version of dressed up. It's all clean, but yeah, he's about 5'10" and looking all punk rock, and wondering why the fuck he's here.
Well, Ramon has explained to you that the night
I
tonight is the
know,
night.
but he
Yeah.
doesn't fucking care.
But at the door, Ramon is greeted by Duke with a kind of a surly nod. Ramon, I wasn't expecting you to have a guest. And Ramon smiles. He's got his left hand on your shoulder, Merrick. Kind of a, he's with me kind of gesture, And he offers his hand out to Duke, and he says, "Oh, it's okay, Duke. That this is Merrick. He is my child. I made him a while back. Found him of all places in Topeka. Edward had not given you permission to sire. Well, I found him in Topeka and did not sire him here. I sired him with permission in Topeka." Uh-huh. Ramon, you're old enough to know the penalty for breaking the traditions. Oh, I understand. I understand completely. All right. On your head, so be it. Edward will be in shortly.
As soon as we walk in, I'm immediately scanning the crowd for Booth.
You don't see him.
Laysai.
You do, on the other hand, see a guy who looks incredibly like Kurt Cobain.
Well, remind me to talk to him later.
Yeah, it's not who you think it is. Yeah, Ramon just kind of he kind of makes the chopping gesture across his throat. No. It's not who you think it is. He's one of the prince's buddies, and he's a little weird. But Ramon kind of gives Duke a little bit of side eye as he comes in, sees Earl sitting off to the side. And then behind you, at the door, you hear Duke say, "Ah, Mr. Booth." And you turn, and there he is. Leslie Booth, your
Welcome to all
great
the new
nemesis.
viewers. Thank you guys for coming.
The guy who has been dogging you for as long as you remember.
He doesn't know I was embraced either, right?
He doesn't. And then a stab of fear hits you. Ramon just told this guy, Duke, at the door, that he found you in Topeka.
Yeah, I was on tour.
And he turned you there with permission. Booth knows you're from Denver. It's very possible that he could blow this whole thing wide open and get you and Ramon, or one or both of you guys killed just by saying the wrong thing.
I don't like being put in a position where I have to hide.
Booth scans the room, greets Duke quietly, and you can feel the second his eyes lock onto you. He just freezes for a moment in his conversation with Duke. But he doesn't seem to say anything about you. He just, after a moment, looks away and moves toward the center of the room, where he sits down next to the older red-headed woman. Finally, about an hour after the four of you have arrived, apparently everyone that was expected has shown up, because Duke closes the door and locks it. All right. He pulls a cell phone out of his pocket. Says a quiet phrase. Let's go ahead and see if anybody hears that. Go ahead, everyone jump over to Roll20, and please roll your perception plus alertness.
What's our difficulty?
Target number is 6. The more successes you get, the more detail you will get of the message.
Did you say it one more time? It was perception awareness?
Perception alertness. Awareness is something different.
Got it.
Oh no, -2 successes.
Okay, I'm not sure I believe that. Oh no, that really is as bad as it looks. You had 4 dice to roll there?
Yep, 4 dice to
Is that
roll.
right?
3, 2,
A
1, 1.
3, 2, 1, 1. Wow.
How do
Okay.
you see Jess? How do you see his rolls? I only see his little thing that says the ability modifiers and stuff.
If you hover over the -2, it'll show you my dice rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, balls.
Yeah. Wow.
I got 2 success. No
Okay.
ones.
That's good enough. All right. So, Mike, Amber, what about you guys?
I'm trying to get roll 20 right now. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay.
Uh,
Do you have physical dice right there handy?
I don't. Um,
We
if
just
you have
moved. I can't find them.
if you have physical dice, roll 4 dice for Max while I get it up, please.
Okay.
Amber snickered when I said get it up.
What?
course, of
No.
course.
Why?
Hell
Why
yeah.
would you do that?
She is your
I've never
wife.
had that issue.
Sorry, I have a dirty mind.
All
Oh,
right.
that's perfect.
Max has 2 successes. And how many dots combined does Shelly have in perception and alertness?
Once again, she's better than me. 6.
Haha.
Oh.
Women rule.
Well, can't argue with that.
There we go. And my gosh, she's got 2 ones on the roll, but she has 4 successes. So,
Women
Merrick, you very distinctly hear Duke tell whoever is on the other end of the line that everyone is here, the room is secure, you're just killing me. That's exactly what you hear. You're just killing me. Ron and Max, what you guys hear is that everyone is here, the room is secure, and Mr. Williams, you can't make out the rest of it. Shelley, you have the sharpest ears, and alone of everyone present, you pick out exactly what Duke says. Everyone is here. The room is secure. Please let Mr. Williams know that we can begin. We will not be interrupted.
I should really start wearing earplugs when I'm on stage.
Yeah, you totally should.
I think that's tinnitus.
Yeah, likely. Merrick, you can't figure out the whole, man, you're killing me? Does not sound anything like what this guy came across as when you were when you were coming in the door. But that you'd swear that's what he said. Wonder who he's talking to. Opposite the main entry door, a door that has been closed all evening opens, and one last person enters the room. Frankie, if you'll go ahead and share with the stream the portrait of Edward. Duke stands at the back of the room by the main door and speaks in a soft voice that still carries and everyone hears perfectly. Kindred of Denver, it is my honor to present to you the Prince of the City, Edward Williams. And then you realize that the people that Duke was most courteous to, the people that he was most considerate of as they entered, are the people sitting closest in the chairs immediately around the one empty chair remaining at the head of the table. The man who walks in is thin, almost to the point of gauntness. His cheeks seem hollow. There are dark circles under his eyes. He has a thick shock of black hair. But as he approaches the table where everyone is sitting, he smiles, and when he does, it's like the room just lights up. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all. I see we have some new faces. We'll get around to introductions in a little bit. But first, I wanted to convey Don Alonso's regrets. He cannot be with us tonight. But he does send his greetings. We have gathered this evening to conduct our quarterly business meeting and to introduce a few new faces. We will conduct the introductions first so that no one is at a particular disadvantage. As Duke said, I am Edward Williams. I am the eldest kindred in the city, and by right of my age, I claim praxis. I rule here. My word is law. Do any wish to challenge this assertion? He speaks those words, and they drop like an anvil on a stone floor. They almost seem to echo, though they don't actually. No? Very well. Then let us continue. First of all, congratulations to Earl Kinney. Earl, I understand that you have recently embraced a new child, and your new Ventru is ready to be presented to the city. Please, stand and introduce your child. Earl stands up, kind of nudges you, Ron, to join him.
Ron stands up right next to him.
Absolutely. He says, with some of the things that have been going on in the city in recent months, Duke and the Prince and I discussed the possibility of bringing an investigator in to the fold who is conversant in modern policing and investigative techniques. Detective Ron Green is a 20-year veteran of the Denver Police Department. He is a very talented investigator, very knowledgeable, and he has been a great help to my investigation into what has been going on in the city recently. Ron, this is everybody. We'll do individual introductions later.
Ron gives a stern head nod and says, "Thank you all for welcoming me in." You can see he's trying to find some words, but you know, he doesn't
Yeah,
really quite know what to say. So he just says, "Thank you all for inviting me in."
Edward looks at you and considers your words briefly, and he smiles reassuringly at you. It's like, I am absolutely certain that you will be a valued member of our community. Welcome, Detective Green. May I ask, Earl, Mr. Green, do you intend to leave the detective in his position actively with the police department? Or do you have a plan in place to remove him from service in that role? Earl shrugs a little. He says, "Sorry about this, kid. We were gonna talk about it later, but I'm on the spot here. Because of the current circumstances, the current investigation, I am forced to leave him in place within the department at the moment. Once we wrap up this current unpleasantness, I will be removing Ron from active duty with the police department, but we will continue to utilize his contacts there to benefit our society."
Sorry to interrupt real quick, JD. Ron tries
Sure.
to hide it, but he probably doesn't do a great job of it. Just a kind of look of first confusion and then a little bit of dismay comes over his face. Kelly may have even mentioned to him once or twice that eventually he was going to have to stop, you know, living
I'm gonna
his
have to stop being a cop.
human life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's just starting to become very real for him, and it just makes him uncomfortable. That's all. He's not going to get up out of the
Yeah.
room or run anything, but you just see that slight shift in his shoulders. You see that look of confusion on his face, like, damn, really? Like shit.
Wait, because this sound. You're right. There had been a conversation. You wouldn't be able to stick it long term, but man, this conversation suddenly makes it seem like it's being pulled off the force is a lot closer than what you had originally thought.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that really conveys the feeling perfectly. He really thought he he wasn't going to make it all the way to retirement, but he thought he had some time left on the force, and now this conversation, it's like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Edward turns next to Constantine. "Constantine, my old friend. Good evening. It's nice to see you. So, these are the young people you've been telling me about." And Constantine stands up between the two of you, Max and Shelley, and he puts a hand on each of your shoulders and he says, "Yes, yes, Edward, I'm very happy to present them to you tonight. I'm very happy with their training. They've been working very hard. And I believe that they will be quite useful in the months ahead and years. They are, well, I selected them for the Embrace based on their chosen career path, which might be a little unorthodox, but will be invaluable when it comes to enforcing and protecting the Masquerade. They are cleaners. They specialize in, well, cleaning up after a mess has been made." Ah, very good. I see. Well, Max, Shelley, Again, welcome to the family. Constantine and I have discussed his desire to create progeny for many years. I am very pleased to be able to discharge this boon. Congratulations, Constantine. I believe this leaves us even. Well, Edward, I believe you're correct. That is true. So it's very nice to be here, everyone. I would like to submit for the pleasure of the group that should you require Max and Shelley's unique skills, you can contact them by reaching out to me. We are available, of course, anytime that the sun is not in the sky. Isn't that right, kids? And he pats each of you on the shoulder and gives you a little squeeze.
We would be glad to assist anyone with some spring cleaning or any time of year, really.
Max's eyes kind of widen and he eyes over to Shelly when he hears the "we're even" part, because now Max thinks in the back of his head, am I a poker chip? Did we what are we involved in?
Edward smiles and chuckles a little bit at Shelley's gracious statement. And then you realize that while, yes, he's looking at the three of you, his eyes are actually on you, Max. You're not sure, but that feeling of discomfort that you just described, you are almost sure that this so-called prince of the city knows exactly what just went through your head. You don't know how, but you can just tell. And he seems kind of pleased by it.
Oh shit. Oh shit. He can read my thoughts. Okay, think of baseball. Think of baseball.
And, he breaks eye contact and he looks across the table to the young man, Mr. Booth, that Merrick had focused on when he arrived. And he says, "So, Mr. Booth, I'm a little behind. How are the Rockies doing this summer?"
He is reading your
Hello.
mind.
For a second there, I thought my mic had cut out again.
No, I just don't
Just
know
got
if Mike knew
really
how to
quiet.
react.
Must think about baseball. Must think about baseball. Man, how about them Rockies? Whoa! And then Edward turns back to Mr. Booth and he says, "Leslie, you and I had talked, gosh, 2 years ago, 3, about the possibility of you creating a child of your own. You said you had someone all picked out, a promising guitarist. And yet, this gathering that was in large part intended to be the opportunity for those who have created new children to present them, you are here alone. Has something gone amiss with your plans?" Merrick, you get this weird sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach as Mr. Booth, your nemesis, says, well, Edward, I apologize. The candidate for the embrace that I had in mind is regrettably no longer available. They were killed a few months ago in an unfortunate incident. And he turns and he looks at you and Ramon, Merrick, and the blazing hatred is just written all over his face.
I obviously see this, and I think I'm smart enough to put two and two together. And it's like, in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, well, I was fucking damned either way, I guess. Like, this was just in my fucking cards.
The little voice in the back of your mind, though, kind of niggles at you a little bit. So, he's not mad at me. He's mad at Ramon. And then you stop and think back. You had taken the job for the band at Ramon's club and had been doing it for a little while when the shooting occurred, when Bruno was killed. Booth knew with certainty then, or Ramon knew that it had been Booth behind it. Maybe that incident was intended to discourage him from his movement on you? There are, let's just say that there are some dynamics at work here that you can't quite put your finger on.
Well, I mean,
But
that would
Booth,
explain why Ramon didn't let Booth's band play.
it would indeed. But, Edward responds to the news that Booth's preferred candidate for the embrace was no longer available with a nod and kind of a considering look. He says, well, I'm sure that you will one day find another likely candidate, someone who checks all the boxes, as the kids like to say these days. And as I have given permission to you to create a child, when the time comes and you find the right person, you may do so with my blessing. But in the meantime, we have another guest among us. Ramon, who is your friend? Please introduce him to me. And Ramon stands up next to you, says, come on, man, let's go. He gestures for you to stand with him. He says, this is my new child, Merrick. I found him out in Topeka, of all places, playing with a band, and honestly, he's amazing. I had to have him. So I sought out the Prince of Topeka and secured his blessing, and I created him. I see, says Edward. At what point were you going to seek permission from me for this new child of yours to dwell within my city? Well, this is all very recent, Edward. It just happened, and this is the first time you've held court since then. Oh, that explains so much. And he looks over at Booth, and he pauses, almost like he's waiting for something. Booth is glaring daggers across the table at Ramon. But when Edward looks at him, his eyes shift to you. And for just an instant, all that anger, all that hate that you saw in his face seems to break for just a moment. And he shakes his head no. Just a very small kind of not a big pronounced gesture. Since you're looking at him, not the prince, you may very well be the only person in the room that noticed it. But he shakes his head very slightly no. And Edward nods. I see. Well, I appreciate you bringing him to this gathering, Ramon. And I beg your pardon, young man. What did you say your name was? Merrick? Jacobs, is that right?
Jasper.
Jasper. Um, your band is the Asphalt Saints, yes?
It is?
Oh, that's right. You just launched a new album. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I do hope Ramon has instructed you that this change in your life is going to impact your ability to be a public figure.
I kinda caught that drift.
Oh, good. Um, if I may, and he smiles in this big, fake, magnanimous way. He says, allow me to ask the new members of our community a few questions. Max, Mike, are you with me?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, the prince turns to you and he says, Max, please tell me, good sir, what is the first tradition?
The masquerade. Thou shalt not reveal thy nature to those not of thy blood. Doing so shall renounce the claims of blood.
Excellent. I see Constantine has been instructing you well.
Yes, my liege, she is a very good teacher, very thorough.
All right. And Shelley, what is the second tradition? Do you know it?
Of course, the second tradition is the domain. Thy domain is thine own concern. All others who owe thee respect while in it, none may challenge thy word while in thy domain.
Very good. Excellent. And then he turns to Ron. He says, Detective Green, what is the fourth tradition, sir?
Ron was expecting to be asked about
The
Hey,
third.
can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't see my screen lighting up. He was expecting to be asked about the third one. So you see him kind of like pause for a moment and his eyes like kind of go up as he's like thinking in his head. Ah, the accounting. Um, those thou create are thine own children until thy progeny shall be released. Thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure.
Excellent.
I'm
Very
getting the
good.
third.
And he says, and Merrick, what is the fifth tradition, please?
Hospitality. Honor one another's domain. When thou comest to a foreign city, thou shalt present thyself to the one who ruleth. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing.
Very good. So then you have come to present yourself as part of the tradition of hospitality, yes?
In the flesh.
Wonderful. It is my pleasure, Merrick, to acknowledge you as a kindred in the city of Denver. I do hope that you enjoy your stay with us and that you find the road to be safe and easily traveled when you return to Topeka. But in the meantime, mi casa e su casa. Welcome to Denver.
Thank you.
And then he says, oh, one other thing. What is the sixth tradition?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I mean, destruction. Thou art forbidden to destroy another of thy kind. The right of destruction belongeth only to thine elder. Only the eldest among thee shall call the bloodhound.
Excellent. Very good indeed. I'm not going to quiz anyone over the third tradition. The tradition of the progeny is half of why we're all here tonight. And he looks at Ramon and he smiles. It is not a warm, friendly, or magnanimous smile, but it is certainly toothy. Merrick,
The only thing on
You-
my mind in that moment is if anybody's killing Ramon, it's me.
Merrick, you feel Ramon just shrink physically under the prince's gaze. But he doesn't back down, and he doesn't break eye contact. And yet, he seems reduced somehow. And Edwards smiles, leans back in his chair, crosses his fingers, says, so, let's go ahead and move the discussion forward. Thank you all for bringing your new children to us to be introduced. But let's move the discussion forward. There is, well, I hate to say it because, well, as most of you know, I try to be very, very accommodating. As long as everyone is obeying the traditions and respecting their neighbors, I try very hard to observe a live and let live sort of environment in the city. Those who have, shall we say, alternate political perspectives can be accommodated so long as they do not become overly demonstrative, shall we say. Again, looking pointedly at Ramon. But in the past year, there have been 3 occurrences of a missing woman and we are becoming somewhat concerned. All 3 victims, and Ron, this stands out in your mind rather dramatically because while this is obviously the case that you're working on, and as far as you know, there are only 2 victims involved.
Of course, right? Yeah. And when he said 3, Ron immediately is like, "Wait a minute." He even looks over, like, I'm gonna look at Kelly, like with a quizzitive look, like
And
he's gonna mouth
he
mouth the word 3. He's not gonna say it because he doesn't want to interrupt, but he's gonna mouth 3.
Yeah, and he just kind of waves a hand, like, easy, easy. It's, yep, and he nods. And the prince continues. Each of these women is of a strikingly similar appearance. Each of them also travel in the same suburbanite social circles. 2 of them attended the same high school, and 2 of them were members of the same church. All 3 vanished after hiring a car as part of a bridal party. The women have not been seen since. The drivers have all been found savagely killed. To even the most untrained eye, most likely by one of us. I would like to put it out there for the community's consideration that behaving in this manner is a violation of my domain as the prince of the city. It deeply threatens the masquerade, and as such, should this foolishness not come to a swift halt, the perpetrator will fall victim to the 6th tradition. I am prepared to be lenient if no other victims in this pattern are found. I am content to allow the matter to be closed. However, any further transgressions in this vein, pardon the pun, and he actually kind of chuckles just a little bit after having made a stupid joke. If, however, there are any further victims, I will be forced to call forth the blood hunt. The perpetrator of these crimes will be stopped either of his own volition or by force. Duke, Earl, and the Count are working unceasingly to track down the perpetrator of these crimes. In the meantime, please, everyone, come with me to the next room. He stands up from the table and leads you all from the little ballroom that you've been gathered in through the door that he entered through. The four of you, along with your sires, kind of fall towards the back of the crowd. I mean, first of all, because that's kind of where you were around the table, but also just naturally kind of being not exactly pushed to the back, but certainly left behind by the others in the group. You have a moment while everyone is filing through that door to introduce yourselves to one another if you wish, or to ignore each other if you prefer.
Ron, is it?
Or Detective Green, but sure, Ron
Oh,
works.
Detective, nice to meet you. I apologize for past incidents. You look familiar. Did you work homicide?
Yeah, for a while. I
Okay, that's
suppose
why I
maybe I
know
may
you.
have come across an area that you cleaned before.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. It probably made the extra paperwork long hours for you. Me and Shelly were good at that, but yeah, you know the one job, what was it on Pershing Street? Yeah, that was three guys. You only found the one. That was pretty funny. We laughed about that.
That's
I hate to
fucking
think of a joke
cold.
being made at my expense, but in regards to the extra paperwork and whatnot, the overtime pay wasn't bad.
Silver lining, silver lining. That's good.
Yeah, life just seems to be full of those lately.
You're telling me. This
Were
isn't my
you
real face, by the way.
okay? Strange statement, but
I was getting
my
ready to say,
face is
what a
my
weird
own.
thing to say.
Very awkward transition. Your accent is intriguing. Where do you come from? Not an American, I'm assuming.
No, old country, little town outside Siberia. You wouldn't know it, but yeah, uh, I have a long history with cops, but I think you're a cool dude. We can get along, right?
He kind of eyes Max up and says, "Did you used to be one?"
Oh no, I've always been on the other side, if you know what I mean. I mean, think of it this way. I mean, we kept the homicide rates down because, well, no body, no death. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, man. Hey,
Nick,
gotta ask you a quick question.
Dude.
Did you notice that the prince laughed at his own joke?
Oh yeah, that was fucking weird, right?
Oh, just makes my skin crawl when people do that shit. So
Bro,
tacky.
just between you and me, I feel like a fucking bargaining chip between my sire and this guy. Did you hear what he said about we're even?
I caught it, but I got some other things I was kind of thinking about too. Um, he gestures towards Shelly. Sorry, is this your partner or wife,
Her
girlfriend?
lover.
Oh,
Lover? You keep saying lover. We're married.
Yeah, but you were
uh,
my lover first.
Oh, okay, that's romantic.
Send my hand out to
Well,
Shelly and say, Ron Green, nice to meet you.
All
It's a
right,
pleasure to meet you too.
Nick,
Yeah.
please roll your intelligence for me.
Okay, roll my intelligence. What are we working with, Ron? Working with 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
Damn.
And I've got 866, baby. If I'm counting right, that's 3 successes.
Yep, that is 3 successes. Very good, sir. So you shake Shelley's hand, and she is this lovely young blonde woman, very attractive. And Max is standing just behind her right shoulder while you shake her hand. And you are suddenly swept away by this sense of deja vu. And you realize to your horror, you've met these two before. They were dressed as morgue attendants at a crime scene that you worked.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Oh, fucking shit.
realizing
Yeah,
what
I'm just
they're,
kind of like,
what they've freely acknowledged that they've been doing as a profession, you realize full well what that means. Man, they must be really good at making dead bodies just disappear.
I would say so. Even the one where he told me how there was 3 bodies and there was one. I was at the scene.
Yeah,
I only found one. I didn't even suspect that there was other bodies. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. And to hear it now is just kind of like in a way, it's almost like a fucking slap in the face that this guy is just so fucking and this woman too, not just Max, Shelly too,
the
were so
balls
damn
on these
good.
people.
They beat his
Wow.
fucking 20 years of experience and just hid right underneath his nose while he investigated and didn't
Yeah.
even blink. Like you said, brass balls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. All right. So the 4 of you plus your sires make your way at the back of this small group of kindred. Well, small. There's all told about 20 of you. Into the next room, where Edward has actually gone up onto a small, like, temporary stage setup.
Oh no.
And
Better not pull out an acoustic guitar.
he says, I have actually worked for the last several months, and Ms. Wilkes and Mr. Booth and Mr. Excuse me, Mr. Cobain, if the 3 of you would be good enough to join me on stage.
Well, Bane, I thought that guy was dead.
You told me that wasn't Kurt Cobain.
It's not.
He just said,
Yeah, Earl nods, or not Earl, Ramon nods and says, "Yeah, we just have to call him that. It's okay.
is he one of those?
I'll explain later."
Okay.
Yeah, he's a kook. Uh, he's a kook who has the ability to change his appearance, and his thing is to strap on a different dead musician every 20 years or so.
Is that why Elvis keeps getting spotted?
Shelly, you should be Amy Winehouse next time we figure out how to change your appearance.
Ew, no.
But before
27
you sit
Club, am I
down
right?
on the stage, The four of them sit down on
You're
on
breaking
the
up again,
stage.
JD.
Darn it! I say, can you hear me now?
It's kind of chopping it out.
Hello?
Give it like
Hello?
30 seconds. It'll clear up. It's every time it's cleared up. Just give it a couple seconds.
That's what she said.
I hope not.
Hey.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. So
You sound
yeah,
clear now.
they take the stage and they pick up their instruments and they proceed to perform a it's a some of it's nothing that any of you haven't heard before. But they go through a really decent set of 90s rock and roll. I mean, there's some Nirvana, there's some Pearl Jam, there's some Everclear. Um,
Ooh, nice throw in there at the end. I like that. I like Everclear a lot, man.
yeah, they've got some good material. But the guy who looks like Kurt Cobain plays rhythm guitar and just kind of nods along, and he actually takes over and plays lead and sings lead on the couple of Nirvana tunes, and he is shockingly good. Um, there's something about the timbre of his voice that doesn't quite sell the appearance. He's really good impersonator, good. He's not the real Kurt Cobain good. You know? If that tells you anything.
Mm.
But as they play, and Edward seems content to not really be the star of the show. He plays bass and sings backup vocals. He has a very pleasant voice, and he seems to be a very talented musician. But he's just kind of there. He seems very content to be performing.
Oh, excuse me.
But during their set, which is fairly short, all told, they do 5 songs, maybe 15 minutes tops. You take your social cues from the other vampires in the room. Ramon looks bored. Duke looks bored. A couple of the others that you haven't been introduced to look bored.
I lean over to remote. Imagine having to force
But
people to come to your own concert. If I
but
ever get there, kill me.
nobody says anything until Merrick speaks. The instant you speak, even in a low voice, the prince's eyes lock on you. Hey, Frankie,
Yeah.
what is your character's willpower score?
3, 4, 5.
Nice. Okay. So that 5 is my difficulty for the roll that I'm about to make. Let's see. Well, maybe. Roll 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. So the statement that you made, that was broken down into what, 3 sentences?
One sentence?
It's just long.
Yeah, I just said imagine having to invite people or having to force people to come to your concert.
And then
no,
you
and
said,
I
if I
guess
ever get to that point,
kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 2 sentences.
Yeah. His lips don't move. He's not singing at the moment, but he is still playing. He doesn't break stride. That would be unprofessional. You make it to the imagine having to force people to come to your concert. And you feel this crushing pressure. This horrible urge to just turn tail and run. And it just grows stronger and stronger. And then, you finish your statement and you hear his voice in your mind. Kill you? That can be arranged. Don't be rude, you little shit. And then that pressure is gone.
I just gotta look around at everybody else. Like,
Nobody else heard anything. They're just listening to the music. Like I said, a few of them look bored, but even those are courteous enough to not say anything.
what's up,
Hey,
Drama
Merrick,
Goblin?
you're a
How you
musician,
doing?
right? What do you think? Were they pretty good?
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, are you asking this at the end of the set? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, everybody's free to make their own choices. I figured if you wanted to talk during the set, you could, but
That'd be ill-advised.
it might be. Yeah.
We're playing Vampire the Masquerade. It's a role-playing game. So I'm a
Merrick, you
little
okay?
deflated. I'm a little deflated, but I'm a fucking Bruja. I'm not gonna back down.
And
I think to my head, give me the fucking guitar then. Fucking grunge. I don't say that out loud. I just think it, and if he's still in my head, I guess he hears it.
you don't get a response. The set finishes. Max asks you the question about, what do you think? Are they any good? And the grunge scene is not your thing. You're a punk guy. But from a purely technical standpoint, they did an incredibly good job of recreating some very classic 90s grunge.
It's fun. You should play it sometime.
I mean, you would be interested to see what they could do if they were actually playing some music that was actually, harder to play. The 3-chord, eh.
Yeah, I learned how to play Nirvana when I was 8. This is all right, Max.
Ramon looks at you like you have lost your damn mind, and he says, we should probably go.
Are we
Looks around,
allowed to
like,
leave? We could have just left. Like,
yeah, now that the set's over, we can leave.
I got an idea, Max. Why don't you come to the Red Note and I will play some good music?
That sounds pretty good. Shelly?
Hey, Copper, you should come too.
You know, what is your group said they do? Punk rock? Man, it's not really my thing, but in the spirit of meeting new people and, we're all kindred, fuck it, why not? Let's go.
Okay.
Ooh. Merrick, what shall I wear?
Got any leather?
I'm wearing leather right now, my friend.
Then you'll fit right in.
Hell yeah.
Well, I need to go change first.
All right. Well, she's gonna be a while, so maybe
Constantine
maybe
Constantine
a couple days
says,
later.
a crowded nightclub may not be the best place for you guys.
Oh, I never get out anymore.
Well, we do look
Do they have a
ugly as
VIP
sin, though.
area? Like a private lounge?
Or maybe like
Yes.
a VIUP?
I get it, and I appreciate it. Just letting you know.
And Ramon says, so Merrick, maybe you're not getting it. This is maybe an element of your education that I didn't. While we've got the room to ourselves here and there's nobody here but friends of the family, so to speak, why don't you guys show Merrick what he's missing?
What am
Constantine
I
nods,
missing?
and the mask of 1,000 faces that currently conceals Max and Shelley's true visages drops away.
Oh. Oh no.
Ooh, they're nos.
They're nos.
No, that's what Merrick says. Ooh, they're nos.
Oh.
Ron says, "What the hell is that?"
What the
He
fuck,
can't. He
man?
can't stop himself. Just not like directly in response to them, but when Merrick says they're not, he's like, "The hell is that?"
Nosferatu,
Well,
they're the let's just say I'd rather be a Malkavian.
Ramon pipes up. No, you wouldn't. The guy that looks like Kurt Cobain, he's a Malkavian.
I mean,
We have to call him by a different name every 20 years or so. It's really annoying. And it really upsets him if you call him by his actual name.
Constantine, we thought we had a
Jason.
deal, man. I'm trying to make friends, influence people, and it turned me ugly again.
Dick move.
no offense, Max, but not that big of a change. Oh, that was good.
I'm assuming right now.
All right, asshole.
Constantine,
kidding.
look,
I'm
I'm just gonna give
kidding.
you a bad Yelp review.
Constantine looks at the two of you and he says, "Be silent, children." It is important that our fellows know who you really are.
We showed up with you. Shouldn't that tell them enough?
For some, for others,
Wasn't
not
he also
necessarily.
disguised though, or no? Sorry to
Who,
interrupt. Was he
Constantine?
also
Oh,
disguised?
he
Yeah.
dropped his own.
But I mean, like when he showed up with them, he wasn't looking
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, no, he just looked like some average, ordinary dude.
Okay.
Glasses, brown hair, kind of.
This was like kind of double checking for my own clarity.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's still wearing the spectacles. But
Max and Shelly, you guys have got to get us some art on what your Nos looks are compared to what your human forms were.
Working on it.
Yeah. The Nosferatu, of all of the clans of Vampire the Masquerade, have what may very well be the heaviest burden to bear. When they are changed, they become monstrously ugly.
This is Max and Shelley before they were turned.
There is no disguising what they are without the use of supernatural power.
That's my character, Merrick.
But having shocked Detective Green and Merrick with the sudden transition, Constantine looks at the two of you and says, I am not that big a fan of punk music.
Well, in that case,
Without my assistance, my pupils cannot maintain their disguises. However, they can move about unseen. If the two of you wish to go to this club, you may do so. You will do so without me. Recognize that after tonight's presentation to the prince, you have been released on your own recognizance. The tradition of accounting no longer applies. Anything that you do falls on you and you alone.
does that go for me too, Roman?
Yeah.
Nice.
You can go. Enjoy Merrick's show if you wish. And socialize with your peers. As long as you do so in a private space away from the eyes of humans.
So we don't have to live in the sewers anymore?
No.
Because I'm not quite fond of the smell.
You get used to it.
Do you
I
though?
will say that for our kind, it is one of the easier ways to move about the city without being overly concerned about who we happen to bump into. But yes,
Honestly, I'll take my chances.
so be it. Very well. Max, Shelley, I will expect you to visit the Haven to claim your belongings sometime in the next week or so. Just let me know before you stop by. Otherwise, if you need something, by all means, you have my number. Reach out. I am always at your disposal. It is my pleasure to continue to guide and mentor you.
Thank you, sire. Thank you for everything. Let me know if any business comes by. Oh, by the way, what was that whole thing about? Oh, the you and Edward are even. What was that?
Ah, that would be an area of your education that I may have marginalized. I may have mentioned that a great deal of kindred society is based on a sort of barter economy. We do not require money per se, except where it is required to interact with the mortal world. As such, rather than pay for services, we typically trade favors. Sometimes someone is in a position where they are forced to ask a favor, which gives the opportunity to grant that favor and be owed a debt in exchange. Cashing in that debt,
Upcoming ad.
that boon,
Just so you know. Remember, if you subscribe,
can
you
be
don't have
worth
to
a great
watch
deal.
ads. And if you got a Prime sub
Depending on the
available,
debt,
it's the
it
easiest
can
way
be
to go
worth a
about it.
very great deal indeed. Once upon a time, I did Edward a rather large favor. When I decided several years ago that I was thinking of creating progeny, I decided what better place than a city ruled by a prince who already owed me a boon. And so, here the two of you are. Now, if you all will excuse me, Detective Green, Mr. Jacobs, yes? A pleasure to meet you all. I must be about my business for the evening. Have a wonderful night. And Constantine turns and approaches the prince and several of the other older vampires, not all of whom had been introduced. What stands out in your mind, though, all of you, the prince, Duke, Leslie Wilkes, and Leslie Booth, all stick together very closely. Ramon points out that, yeah, the four of them, they're all Toreador. The prince is the oldest. He created Duke and Miss Wilkes, and she created Booth. Duke's a couple 100 years old, maybe almost 300. Wilkes and Booth, they're last century or so. And he kind of looks around between the four of you and he says, a vampire's age will give you a pretty good idea of what they're capable of. You combine knowing their age and knowing what clan they come from, and you get a distinct advantage. So, what do you think, guys? You gonna come back to the red note? Let Merrick and the boys put on a show?
I'm game for it.
Much better than
Alright.
hanging out at a police station.
I guess we could wear hoodies.
And masks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get a
Not
gimp
till you
mask.
try
You'll
it,
fit
Eric.
right in.
Well, realistically, with a hoodie with the hood up and a COVID-style mask that basically doesn't allow anything of your face to show except for your eyes and the area right around your eyes, you would be in pretty good condition to go out in a club somewhere, as long as you've got on like long sleeves and maybe gloves, and you'd be able to get away with it.
I say we get some of those cool retro punk gas masks with the spikes on them, and then like full gloves with spikes on them, and then we'd look super cool. But
I
first, we need
love
to go
that
eat.
so hard. That's great.
I'm thinking like Chinese food. Thoughts?
I was thinking Greek.
Greek? Ugh, all the hair on the neck.
What about those oils? They're healthier.
Ew. Okay, you get your Greek. I'll get my Chinese.
Oh, you guys are great. Ah. All right. So you scare up the stuff you need to create yourselves a couple of disguises. And while you're hashing out your logistics concerns, Earl pulls you aside, uh, Ron, and he's like, "So,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. There's a couple things going on here that I think you need to be aware of. Ramon is a Bruja. They have a bit of a reputation as troublemakers, and sometimes more than that. He is, in fact, the real Joey Ramone, the guy that
Oh
died in
shit.
just early 2000s. Actually, with the family hired to keep the
You're
band
breaking up
going.
again.
Ah, dang it!
Oh, that's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So Earl is okay. So I'm gonna retread the ground again. I'm sorry. Earl
Don't
covers the basics with Ron to say that, hey, look, this is the real Joey Ramone. It's really interesting that he shows up with a new child who happens to be a guitarist just shortly after the prince gave his grandchild permission to embrace a local guitarist. And the fact that they're actually inviting you to go hang out at the club, do that. Get chummy with this guy. Find out what's going on in Ramon's place, and find out what what part this new kid plays in it, if any. Because there's a lot of things in the world that Denver needs. The Bruja getting antsy and making trouble is definitely not on the list right now. That is almost as important an assignment as finding whoever is taking these women and killing these drivers.
Hey, speaking of which, what's up with the 3? You know there was 3?
I did not, actually. That's news to me. But then again, Duke brought me in on it really, really quick when the first one that you were looking into came up. So maybe Duke handled it. There was a short span where I had to be out of town for a little while. Maybe he handled it without me. Still, it's a little weird that he hadn't told me about it.
I would imagine that given the way this society that I'm now a part of seems to be working, if you are of a higher caste, it does behoove you to hold back some information from those of the lower castes.
Well,
Information can be quite powerful And sometimes letting out too much information can topple power in the opposite way too. But anyways, I understand the assignment,
True enough.
and I will be getting chummy with young Merrick there as he kind of looks at Merrick from across the room. And he starts trying to figure out, all right, how the fuck am I going to connect with this guy? Oh, fuck.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so meanwhile, Merrick, Ramon urges you to get a hold of the guys on the way back to the club, make sure that everybody's there and ready to rock and roll, and showtime in an hour.
But as we're like walking out and making these plans, and I kind of look over my shoulder to make sure I'm not being watched or followed. If I need to make a roll for that, let me know.
By all means, go ahead and make a roll for that.
What do I
Let's
need to
find
roll?
out. Perception plus alertness. Let's see if you can botch that one again.
That is 2, 3, 4 dice.
Because, man, I can do so much with a botch on that.
2 successes.
2 successes. Yep. That's tragic. Nope. As far as you can tell, the only people, quote unquote, following you are the people that you invited to follow you.
So, and I kind of speak low to Ramon here. Like, the prince chastised me in my head. I feel like that's probably something I should tell you.
Yeah. You know what? Hang on a minute. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. You know, he's got 1 success. Ramon's poker face stays in place solidly enough. You don't see him turn pale. But yeah, he's like, yeah, that's a good thing for you to let me know. Anytime anybody talks to you in your head, by all means, please let me know. That could be that could be a sign that we're in really great danger.
Also, why do I get the distinct feeling that you and Booth are kind of like 2 parents fighting over custody, and Booth lost?
You know, if he hadn't decided to try to push me out of it by having Bruno killed, Booth probably would have come out on top of that, and you probably would have gotten turned by the Toreador instead of by the Bruja. But eh, you're not far off though.
Meh. I don't like being a fucking pawn, Ramon. Like, it's like every time I come just a little bit closer to liking you, there's something else comes up that makes me just want to fucking rip your head off. Can we just have no more fucking secrets, man? Like, what the fuck?
You know, the fact that Booth wanted to turn you, whatever he's got for you is strong enough. He didn't blow the whistle on you. He didn't say, oh, hey, this guy was supposed to be mine to turn. That's why you and I both walked out of here alive tonight. Whatever it is he's got for you, yeah. So, don't knock it. You didn't need to know. Wouldn't have changed anything. Still doesn't. And, you know, like the detective pointed out a little while ago, it behooves us all of us, to keep our cards close to the vest. When you need to know something, I'll tell you.
One day, Ramon, I'm going to fucking kill you. But for now, let's just go party. I had a
You know what?
elder in my head.
One of these days, when you feel froggy, you go ahead and jump on that and let's see how it goes. All right?
All right.
Hey,
In the
Shelly.
meantime,
Go ahead, Mike. You were about to talk.
Okay. Hey, Shelly. I'm going to call Shovel. We need a new place. You could set us up.
As long as it doesn't smell like the sewer. And I want to bring my cat.
Oh, not the cat. It hasn't seen us in like 2 years. How do you know it's still alive?
Told the neighbor if we didn't come home within a week to take care of it.
There's a big difference between a week and a year. Or 2 years.
She's
Okay.
a good neighbor.
Okay, you text the neighbor, see if the cat is still alive. I wonder if we could turn the cat.
Jesus, you don't want to do that.
Okay, I'll call Shovel. You call the cat lady. We'll see if we still have it. I'm getting my fish tank though.
Fucking
oh
nos.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. A nos with a 55-gallon fish tank. Wow.
55. 55 is for pussies. I want at least 200. There better be a shark in there.
I was gonna say he's gonna have those like very strange looking deep sea creatures to kind of like reflect his own grotesque nature.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
You
want
know,
one of the blobfish. The blobfish make me look better, think better of myself.
wow. All right.
The cat's gonna try to eat some of the fish.
You can try a fucking Shark Week in the tank with the cat.
All right. So,
Where are you gonna go with that, ST? Where are you gonna go?
Amber, roll 1d10, please.
Ooh, one die. The suspense. Oh my
9.
god.
Congratulations. The neighbor next door not only has been taking care of your cat, she has been taking care of your house. The dusting is done. It's been vacuumed recently. The utilities are on. Yeah, everything's good. You could move right back into the same house if you wanted to.
I don't
Or
know,
you could
dear. I
you could
know you
you
like
could
this place, but the
you could
windows.
you could rent it out and have a surprisingly large consistent passive income.
Well, and if they don't pay the rent, we get free food.
Sounds good to me.
Ta-da.
All right,
See?
we still need to find
Bright sides
another
all the way
place.
around. All right. Max, roll a d10. You reach out to your old buddy Shovel.
Devil, you'd better. Oh fuck me! New number. Who this?
I got terrible news. New number. Who dis?
Fucking Shovel.
Now,
Does Constantine have a cell phone? I know reception's bad in a sewer.
Constantine has a cell phone, yes.
Okay, going to text Constantine. See if he has a Nosferatu real estate agent.
Nosferatu real estate agent? What are you talking about? We don't use realtors to buy houses. Are you kidding?
Oh, how do I find new place?
You eat the people who live there.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
valid. That's valid.
Hey, Amber?
Uh-huh.
Just out of just for wild curiosity's sake, why don't you go ahead and roll 3 dice for me?
Okay.
D10s?
D10s, yeah, always D10s for this game.
I swear, if you get a better roll,
Nah, one
fun
success.
pass.
Okay. Yeah. So, never mind. I was just curious. So yeah, everything's fine. The search for a new place to stay might take you a little bit of time, at least through your current methods. Now it is possible you could probably, spend some time and effort tracking Shovel down. Might not get it done tonight, especially if you're going to go to the club and listen to Merrick and his band play. But
You can crash in the Winnebago, but I swear to God, don't mess it up.
No promises.
Hard pass. I'd rather eat someone for their penthouse than live in a Winnebago.
Weren't you just living in the
Okay.
sewers, dog?
That was against my will, and I have standards.
okay, see, I think the thing that I'm kind of drawing a blank on is his complaint against the house that they already own was all the windows, and he's wanting a penthouse suite. What do you think they've got?
No.
You want the basement, man.
All right, fine. We live in old house. I will call somebody to retrofit windows with really good shades, like really good shades. And my second call is to the fish tank guy. His name's Ivan. He's Romanian, not Russian, but we get along okay.
Really? You think we should call the fish tank guy? We should be calling Shovel and finding out what happened to him.
I called Shovel. He didn't pick up. I will text him. I will say,
I want
hey,
to know why he's not picking up.
it's me, Max. I owe you money. Call me back.
Oh, that should give him an answer.
I mean,
Well,
it's been
except
2 years.
we did kind of cover that. You called Shovel, and somebody else answered the phone at that number.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the
Who's
number
this?
that you have for Shovel reaches a guy named Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Hi.
Tom, funny question, but do you know a man by the name of Shovel?
No? Who is this?
It's American Debt Relief asking for your information to help you save money.
Oh, no, thank you. I don't have any debt but my student loans, and I'm on a deferment for them right now. So, my mom helped me get that set up when I lost my job and moved back home. But, thank you for your call. Hey, have you had dinner tonight? Do you know any good places to eat? I'm thinking I need dinner. Are you hungry?
Tom, I'm glad you asked. I'm actually based in Denver, like you, which is very funny. But yeah, I'd love to go out and eat some. Just a problem. Or do you mind if I bring my very attractive sister with us?
Oh, I wasn't really. No, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. No, thank you. No, you have a nice night. Click.
Damn, misread it. Ah, almost got a free meal. Damn it.
That was pretty good. The American Debt Relief with the Russian accent. That's a really nice touch. I like that. We are calling in regards to your
Send me
cause extended
$400 in
warranty.
Amazon gift cards. I will remove your credit card debt.
That's fantastic.
That was great.
It's not actually that funny since my wife's identity was actually stolen this spring. So, but I can still laugh at it.
I should have done a Indian with a vampire with an Indian accent.
Oh, geez, no. Oh, that's so wrong. This is being streamed. Why do you got to be like that?
It's marked for mature audiences, so.
Oh, hallelujah. We're saved. What? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. It is basically time for us to wrap up the quote unquote official session. Frankie, ball's in your court, sir. It is 5 minutes till 11 on your time zone. If you want to call it here, it's a good place to do it. If you're game to continue, then I mean, basically, it's you guys going to be hanging out at the club after you've played a set.
I think
So-
we can. We're gonna have to handle that in out of character chat, guys. I do have to work in the morning, so I
Yeah.
do need to run. But on
Fine by
that
me.
note,
That gives us time to draw it out.
yeah. On that note,
Yeah, alright.
shit ton
Let's
of
talk about
viewers
experience
tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, out of nowhere, like one of my most watched
Well-
streams. So that was great, and it was like spur of the moment. I clicked stream like halfway through us
I-
starting,
News.
and
I might have gone ahead and shared the link when I realized that you were putting it out over Twitch instead of just recording it for YouTube, and shared the link with a couple of other servers I'm on that have some fairly large member counts. So, hell, who knows?
yeah, because
If
somebody
I may,
mentioned
really quick.
the Emmy verse, and I don't know what that is.
The what verse?
The Emmy verse?
EME.
Oh,
EMI?
EMI. Elvin,
Yeah.
Elvin made
EMI.
in.
Oh.
Yep. Elvin made in on X.
Oh, okay.
Lovely group of creative people. There are several streamers and different creatives, authors, what have you, game designers, and all hanging out on Discord.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out because
So,
they were in the
yeah.
chat.
I will shoot you the link to the Discord.
Nice. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody. We're going to talk about experience, that boring stuff off stream. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys for coming out, and we appreciate you. Thank you for running the game, JD. Everybody say good night.
And
Good night.
and everybody,
Good
let's
night,
thank Frankie
everybody.
for streaming the game.
Thanks, Frankie.
Yeah, thank you. And real quick, JD's link is in the chat. If anybody's interested in playing a game at JD's table,
Oh yeah,
hit
Oh,
that link.
thank you, sir.
link
Oh,
is
yeah.
in the
You
chat.
know, what would I do without you guys? This is awesome. Thank you. It's like I've got a full
Hey,
secretarial staff,
we all
and
support each other. You
everybody's
know what I
working for
mean?
free. It's awesome.
The games are better when everybody's playing. So everybody
Yeah.
You
join JD's
got
table.
it.
Hopefully next week we got a full table. But hey, later
Have you
guys.
stopped the stream yet? Wait.
Oh.
Have you stopped the stream yet?
No, was about to click
Perfect.
it though.
Don't. Give me one more second.
Yeah.
I have a brand new table with session 0 this Saturday night. If anybody's still watching that wants to check it out. So
Heck
when we
yeah.
will
Click that link in the chat.
gonna be starting Strixhaven.
Strixhaven,
Curriculum
everybody.
of
Strixhaven
Chaos.
Saturday night. Sounds fun. Join it up,
JD
join
is
it up.
an
man.
excellent game master. You won't regret it. I've played at his Strixhaven table. It is a great game. Trust me. Click that link, and